Bob Sozak, I'm your DPW director. We are being recorded tonight with TCTV. I appreciate you all coming out. Tonight we have William Sturdy from Weston and Sampson and Peter Sanborn down the end from Community Opportunities Group. They're here to discuss the project that we're gonna be doing on Orchard Lane as far as the infrastructure and the final outcome. If you let them go through their report and show you what we're doing. If you have questions, and hold them to the end, that'll be great. Bill?
Do you want to say anything first?
Sure, I'll just say this is, this project's being funded mostly from a state grant from the Department of Housing and Community Development, which was awarded late last summer. Takes a while for these things to get off the ground. There's some town money involved from Chapter 90, which is state aid, road aid, for those of you who may not know. And there's also a commitment of funds from the Water Division of Municipal Light and Water. So we're looking to start a construction this spring and be done hopefully by midsummer, largely done, and maybe some cleanup. But Bill Sorty, who's the project engineer from Weston and Sampson Engineers, is going to walk you through the project and talk about technical aspects. So have a chance to ask questions at the end. And I don't know if everybody knows Adam, who just walked in, Adam LaMontagne. So,
Thank you, Peter.
So I won't bore you guys too much with this, just give you an idea of what we're proposing to do out there. So the project is going to be, utility upgrades as far as the water and drainage goes. The drainage system out there is nearly non-existent once you get, basically to the bottom of the hill. The road width varies left and right. We did borings out there with Ron's crew a couple weeks ago, and there's 2 inches typically of asphalt out there. So our intent was to improve the water system, which is in, it's a 6-inch,
It's 8-inch AC.
8-inch AC. So we're gonna replace that with new 8-inch ductile iron all the way to the top where it ends now. There'll be a hydrant at the very high point. I believe there's a hydrant up near the top now.
Yes.
The drainage system, we have, the water course here. That's where the deep culvert is. There's an existing drainage outfall there that's collecting flow from a couple of structures and then some unknown pipe leading north. So we're gonna be upgrading all the drainage. The water is pretty simple. Let me finish with the water. We're gonna install the new 8-inch ductile. And then we're gonna put a new curb box at your property line. The contractor is gonna lay new copper. Do you use copper? Copper from the new main to that line is gonna tie into your existing service, and then it'll feed into your house. So no work on private property in terms of that. The water line, because of the limited space we have to work, and I don't really trust working around old AC pipe, you don't want to be excavating around it. We're gonna be instructing the contractor to install a temporary water system before the work starts. So they'll be feeding off the hydrant here. They're gonna run a temporary water main above ground, underneath your driveways, but above ground the whole way. That'll get sanitized, chlorinated, and tested. Once it passes all those, then they're gonna create a temporary connection to your water service, sometimes through a spigot. Each house it's a different situation with each house. Well, the contractor will figure that out. Then he'll go through and install the water main, all the way to the top. We're gonna I'm not sure how many hydrants you have now, but we're gonna be putting hydrants a minimum of 500-foot spacing to improve fire safety. Back to the drainage, we're gonna install, the typical spacing is 300 foot per sets of catch basins. We're gonna actually be sure that the catch basins we install at the bottom feed to that existing outfall will be the low point of the road. It's always horrible when you install something new and the puddle forms 20 feet up the road. So we're just gonna be running 12-inch plastic pipe from every 300 feet or so up the hill. Actually, so it stops there. So it stops right during where the pavement widens out there, right at number 43. So that's gonna make a big improvement to the lifespan of the pavement that we're putting down. We're gonna bituminous curve both sides. We're gonna keep the water in the road and on the gutter line. It's gonna be able to run down and feed into structures, so it's not gonna be running down 1,000 feet of road before it finds either it's gonna leak off into somebody's yard or eventually get down into the existing structures. As far as the sanitary sewer goes, we're keeping it as is. We're just gonna, since we're reconstructing the road, rebuilding the road, we're just gonna put new frames and covers on there. We'll have them rebuild, so at least they're solid and those will be good.
Bill, while he's on the sewer, just so you know, a couple of months ago, myself and the sewer department did go out and jet the lines and inspect all the lines going up the road, and they're all healthy and good standing, so they're not really a concern.
That's been typically what we've found with the sewer lines, because Back Bay neighborhood, we did a series of phases there in the late 2000s probably.
Yeah.
All those sewer lines were in good shape too, and we chose to just let them be. So as the road reconstruction, we did test pits out there with Ron's help. We did borings, and the material is suitable to reclaim, so that's a big benefit to the town and to the project, because instead of having to remove 16 inches of the existing material, truck that out, bring in 12 inches of new gravel, and then our 4 inches of asphalt, we're gonna be able to just grind the existing material and reuse what was there. That's a significant, it's on a project this size, that saves almost $100,000. So that's great for everybody, you know, you, the town, the budgets. Contractors may not like it because it might eat into their bottom line, but it's a great benefit. So what we did was we kind of, you know, the road width, as I said, is all over the place out there. So we picked kind of the average, because I want a straight, you know, constant width of the road, for the drainage and for other reasons too. So, you know, we're gonna be creating a nice crown in the road now, so the water is gonna shed from the center line, then get to the curb and then down. So the road will be 18 feet wide. In some places now it's 16, in some places it's 20. I mean, it's all over the road. But 18 is a good number, and I think it's since there's, you know, the amount of, you know, it is a dead-end street with limited users, and it mimics basically what's there now. So that's, you know, the symbology of the gray shade throughout this. We are maintaining the wider width there at the bend, and at each driveway, unless, if it's gravel, we can use gravel, but we'll do a minimum 5-foot paved apron, because we are gonna be making changes to the grades at the edge of the roads to facilitate the proposed drainage we need to do. I think that's about it for the improvements we're proposing. I'll just show you the top of the street. I believe, it's still 18 feet, so there's that wider spot. You know, I believe that's probably used for parking, so we're maintaining the 18 feet and the curbing all the way up. Curbing it, but no proposed drainage at this point for that last couple hundred feet. So that's all I have for the improvements we're proposing.
Any questions, anyone? Hey, ma'am, before you leave, would you sign in
Of course.
here? Thanks.
Hi, Julie Richard. I just had a quick question on 33 Orchard Lane. The vertical pipe that's literally going down my side driveway. It says it's gonna be, they're gonna do a vertical pipe. Or are they not going there at all? At 33?
Right, here's 33, yeah.
Right. because it's actually grandfathered in, so there's a water pipe that goes from my driveway
goes to
all
the-
the way down
It's
to,
actually the house before you.
it's actually on my property line though.
It's not, we found the tie card for it. It's the house
Okay.
next to you down.
So it's the house before mine,
Yeah,
so it's not gonna affect my side driveway in any way. It's gonna go right by the first.
Is this the
other-
water service?
yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
water service that's
The water
going down
service-
to the house.
There's a water
house out
service that
back.
goes between the
That's
houses.
the one,
It feeds the house
Yeah.
off of Gardner Road,
Yeah.
where
Yeah, you gave
where
us
Paul
that.
Hula used to live.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not gonna affect any of my piece of it?
They're only
Area.
they're only going from the water main in the street to the property line.
Oh, okay.
What he meant, because
And then they're just, so they're not actually, okay.
even on your yard, when they
Because it
connect your
says they're gonna
water.
remove and properly dispose of water main.
That's the water main in the street.
The main and the street, not
on
the
your-
old piping under the property lines. Okay.
Right, there is a line here that's depicting your property line.
Right.
You know, it's approximate. They're gonna be bringing in, like, say, if that service was here, say, their work will end right there.
Okay.
They'll tie into
What's there now?
what's already there now.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
And they'll loom and seed it when they're
Yeah,
done.
it'll all get cleaned up. With a nice New England weed mix if things go to plan.
And then just one more
Yeah,
question,
sure.
because, you know, small town America, everybody's gonna chit chat. No sidewalks, either side of the road, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. It's not wide enough, obviously. Good, that was a big concern.
Any disruption to water service or neighboring businesses?
There will be, the only disruption, Ron and I discussed what's gonna happen here at Gardner, we have to tie in there. There will be one shutdown, because we have to cut in a new T and valves in this intersection. That'll be, short-term shutdown, then they're gonna have to drop in their valve cluster and connect to the existing piping. So there will be a shutdown. But then once that's in, all of this, they'll install the temporary water up the road from that hydrant, test it. Then there'll be, brief disruptions as they hook you up, as they hook each house up to the temporary line. And then there'll be brief disruptions, once the water main, the actual ductile iron water main is in and tested. There'll be a brief disruption when they have to, to each individual house as they then take you off temporary, put it on permanent.
I'm not on that street, I'm
Okay.
just wondering about that.
Right.
What is your definition of a brief?
Well, it has to be less than 4 hours.
Okay.
So, normally what they're gonna do is they're gonna excavate it out and have it all set, and they're gonna build their T with the valves on it and stuff. Then they'll do the shutdown, they'll cut the pipe, they'll drop it in, throw some chlorine in there, and then button it up. So, they have up to 4 hours, right, but I would anticipate.
We'll give you a day's notice. We'll put notices on everybody's door so you'll know.
Great.
That's, again, that's on the street, I'm in business, that's just before that. That's my question.
Where are you at? Are you at the Crossroads?
I'm Crossroads Restaurant.
You shouldn't have any effect at all.
Okay, that was just my question.
Okay, sure. We have gates so that you should still have water.
Okay.
Right, yeah, there may be some people affected down Gardner.
Yeah,
I would
down
anticipate,
Gardner Road, there'll be a few houses.
Where they don't have the ability to isolate, they can isolate from here, right? You can isolate all this, but they can't isolate just this street.
Your water's tied off of Patriots Road, it's not on Gardner Road.
Okay.
So you won't be affected at all.
Unless the old water main across the street from you. That's an issue. Hopefully that doesn't.
Shouldn't be an issue.
How difficult is the travel gonna be? I mean, when I saw that you came down and did some of the work and there's some spraying, I literally have something right directly in front of my home and then directly in front of my driveway, where you're gonna be drilling and doing your work and,
Right, when this starts, it's
cause
gonna
it's
be,
a dead-end road, so.
it's gonna be an inconvenience.
But we're gonna be able to travel it to our homes, or are we gonna have to?
Well, there'll be periods during the day, we'll have to knock on your door, and let you know that they're gonna be digging in front of your home.
Oh,
And we'll
okay,
let you know so that you can pull your car down the road a ways.
all right.
So if you have to leave, you can still go down the road, get in your car and go. In the days during trash pickup, what we did on other projects,
Yeah.
we just went up there with the backhoe, put the trash barrels in the front loader, brought it down to the end of the street, the guy came, picked up your trash, and we brought him back. Just let us know the days that you're gonna need the trash pickup, so we'll be ahead of the game. And there'll be somebody from highway and water there pretty much every day.
You want to speak about upgrading service connections on private property?
Sure. I'm not sure, what do people typically have? There's probably not lead services out here.
No, there's no lettuce, there's some homes that do have an old iron service.
If you have like an old iron service, or you just, think now is a good time to upgrade, you can coordinate with the contractor. You know, it wouldn't, it'd be kind of, you would make an arrangement, you and the contractor, but when they're doing that service, they could bring it right up to right into your house for you, if that's what you choose to do. And the same with your driveways, if your driveways, if you're thinking about repairing it or repaving it, now would be the time to do it, because you'll get a good deal from this contractor, and then you'll have one seamless driveway instead of having a 5-foot nice piece with a joint and coming back in 2 years and having a joint with more new asphalt. It's a good time to do it. A lot of folks, I had a project very similar to this in Warren, and almost everybody had lead services. They all brought it right into their house on their nickel, but the contractors, this kind of thing, they're usually pretty fair. They'll stick with the unit prices, which are usually pretty fair. So it's a good time if you have concerns about your water service, or, thinking about neatening up your driveway. And these are, there will be a meeting, like, this is gonna bid in, it's gonna go to bid middle of February, sometimes gonna open in the middle of March. So there will be a site meeting, I presume, where we'll get, town folks, Peter, me, and the contractor, and we'll meet on site, and any resident who wants to express concerns, or, just meet the contractor. It's always nice, to, meet them and let them, put a face, so you know who's gonna be on site. So that would probably happen
Yeah, so the
later,
town hopes,
probably.
we hope to be able to award the contract in late March. So we don't know what the contractor's schedule is, but it's probably, work would probably start up a month later, sometime in the 3 to 5 week window. So you're looking at a start in mid to late April, possibly.
Some of it will be weather dependent too.
Yep.
Yeah, because this will be on I believe, the Board of Selectmen's agenda for their second business meeting in March.
Yep.
Is what we're planning, and this will also have to go in front of the Conservation Commission for February 10th, off the top of my head. But you're gonna follow up with Lori.
Yep. Any other questions?
Just so you know, we'll get emergency traffic needed up there if needed. We'll be monitoring the fire department. If they're coming down, we'll make sure they can get by the work zone, so.
That's all I have.
That's great, looks awesome.
Everybody signed in, that would help, that helps the process.
Yeah, if you haven't signed in, please sign in. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Good thing, Peter.